Hey guys, welcome back to Ranger Survival and Fieldcraft. I'm Andrew, and what I have for you today is a look at the top 10 or most used items that I use as a survival instructor at the Pathfinder school, but also for my own use, either bushcraft, field skills, hunting, trapping, or even making videos for you guys. And so I wanted to share that information today so we can adapt our kits and learn from one another. Stand by. Alright guys, so before I get started, I just want to preface that all this gear I've used for years and years, so I trust this gear, which is why I share it with you. I really don't care where you get your gear. I just want to give you the information and show you what I have historically used the most, so you can maybe tailor your kit or maybe walk away with something, or simply enjoy a quick Sunday video. So that's all I wanted to say about that. Now let's get down to business. Alright, so one thing I rely upon the most for a lot of bushcraft or specialty classes or extended stays in the field to cook for myself, because I only have to worry about myself, especially if I'm just camping or doing a video by myself away from the schoolhouse, is a smaller bush pot. This is the 1 quart bush pot from SRO or Pathfinder, and it does everything that 2 quart does, but just smaller in volume. So great for one person. We still have the bail, so we can suspend this over a fire. It's got the good spout for pouring, so we can keep the lid on at the same time. That D-ring, extract the lid, and we've got access to the container itself. The lid fits snugly, it's not falling out. And then we have those D-ring handles or batwing handles in the back, so we can put this into the fire and take it out of the fire if we're not using the bail or we're not suspending the pot for whatever reason. And so this bush pot, you can see, has a ton of use because I rely on it a lot. It's smaller, easier to pack and transport than this 2 quart. And this one is favorable if we're going to be proximate to water, meaning that our camp is close to water, so we don't have to worry about filling up large containers and moving a large quantity of water back to camp. We just get the water we need, we're right there, we use it, boil it, make our food, drink, and then we can just simply step over to the creek or stream, get more water, and then come right back to the fire. Very easy to use. And so that's why I rely on this one, because I'm usually camping near camp, but it's only me out there typically, and so all I need is something small like this. This can even be used as your camp cup. I make cowboy coffee in this thing all the time, and so you can just use it as a cup. And speaking of cups, one thing I really like about this is that I've got my bottle nesting cup, fresh bottle right here, because my other one is old and has been used a lot. This cup fits right inside. The only problem is the lid won't close, but if we have some sort of dry bag where you can actually put this kit inside, we really don't have to worry about that. Put that inside, put the lid on top, cinch it down, and now we have a bush pot with a cup nested inside, and we still have our lid. Our entire kit is ready to go. And even if we don't have this, or we want to travel with multiple pots, one small pot, let's say for making drinks, and then another one for cooking food, we can take out the cup. This 1 quart actually fits inside the 2 quart. Take the lid for the 1 quart, put it on. 2 quart fits right on, and now we have both a 1 quart and a 2 quart inside of our 2 quart pot, which is something I really like about the 1 quart pot or the SRO Pathfinder bush pots and the design they have right here. Great bush pots or billy cans for bushcraft use or just camping. Great, easy to travel with, which is why I use that 1 quart bush pot quite frequently. So that's one item right there. Another container I use quite frequently and rely on most of all is going to be that 1 quart Pathfinder metal canteen and nesting cup. I'm a big fan of the batwing handles as opposed to that L-shaped handle. It's nice, but if you dump this over out of the fire and you lose the connection right here with the L-shaped handle and then turn it back over, it falls out. And that's one thing I don't really care for on it, so my one critique, but I still think it's a great canteen cup to have anyway, because it's designed to act or function as a tripod and sit like that, so it's not going to fall over if you place it down in the fire. But I'm a big fan of the batwing handles just because I'm old school. I'm an institutionalized man from the military, and so I'm an inside cat, and that's what I prefer. But as I told you before, with that bush pot, this is my old nesting cup, and you can see that it is beat and used and abused, and even the inside is as dark as night. So I got a new bottle and nesting cup, and this is one of the earlier generations where the batwing handles were very thin wire material as compared to these handles. And so I really like the canteen as opposed to the bottle, but I have both. I've got the canteen that I actually use most frequently. I've got a spare just in case this one takes a dump on me or I get rid of this one for whatever reason and then need a fresh one to start again, or if I just need two, I've got two right there. But I put the cook set with this. It doesn't come with it, I don't believe, but you have the stand for the canteen or cup. You can just place that on it, and then you have the canteen itself, 1 quart or slightly larger than 1 quart actually, with the wide mouth. I really like this system just because it reminds me of the military canteen cup and aluminum stove kit that you can get. But this, and then even the lid to go over the actual nesting cup, makes a great cook kit. It's very easy. You don't even need bush pots now. All you need is just your canteen and nesting cup, stand, the lid for a complete camp cook set. Now what I like to do is I actually have just a pouch, military pouch right here. This is Hidden Woodsman, I think, or Helicon, I forget. But I have just a millbank bag, military style, old school, down at the bottom. And then I take the lid, place it inside the pouch, take the stove top and the nesting cup with the batwing handles, place it inside, and then my canteen goes right in there, and I have my entire kit, a filtration system as well as a way to boil and heat up water, all in this nice little pouch. They can go right at the top of the rucksack, and this is something that I've used most frequently at a lot of specialty courses, survival on the water's edge, as well as land navigation courses at the schoolhouse. This is quick and easy to use. I'm not going to be staying out in the field and using my bush pot that much. It's going to be something that's quick, on the move, and then if I need to gather water, I still have a way to treat that water or strain that water prior to boiling it to make it safe to drink. And so this is going to be one of the other containers that I really like and I use a lot, as you can tell, just by this old canteen right here. One thing I did want to show you with this canteen really quick is that we obviously put the cup over top of the mouth to char material. But we can actually leave that cup there if we're not placing it into the fire, put the lid on it on the inside, cover it with the cup like that, and then if we have 2 cups as part of this kit, we could have one with the L-shaped handle, one with the batwing handle. We just place it on bottom like that, so now we have 2 cups with our 1 quart canteen. It fits in a pouch like this, and now we just have those 2 cups with our 1 canteen, so now we have the ability to boil water, 25 ounces in each cup plus 32 ounces in the actual bottle itself, so almost 100 ounces of water right here that we can boil, treat, and then consume to stay hydrated, even in survival or if we're just out in the field. So a great little technique right there that I wanted to show you with the Pathfinder canteen set. All right, last container, I swear. So this is the Grail and Pathfinder Nesting Cup. This is a great minimalist kit. The Grail here is a GeoPress filter. We've got a nice cap on top, so we can actually filter this water, keep it inside the filter itself, and then drink as we move. We take out the filter. This is the reservoir where we fill it up with water. We've actually got tape wrapped around here for improvisation or extra material, whatever we need. It also helps keep the cup nested on the Grail itself. But with this, we put the Grail filter in. This filter is good for about 50 gallons of water or so. I think mine's about to go, if I counted correctly anyway. But we take this, press it down in that dirty water for about 15 seconds, a lot slower than I'm moving right now. Then we have fresh water. So this is great to drink on the move. We could even cap it off, like I said, and travel with water in this container. But if we need something else as part of this kit for a minimalist kit, because we always want to have some sort of metal container, we got that perfect nesting cup that fits right on the bottom of that Grail. and stainless steel graduated markers inside, so we can see how much water we have in there. We get about 30 ounces, almost 2 quarts in this cup alone. The batwing handles, we can scoop up that water, use a piece of cloth to strain it first to get a lot of the gunk out of it, place this in the fire, boil that water, and we've treated it. Now we have safe water to drink. Just on the off chance that our Grail here takes a dump on us, or we break it, or something happens to it. But it's a very good minimalist kit, 2-piece kit for water treatment on the go, and then more for survival. But this is something I use quite frequently for instruction. I also use this when I'm out filming videos for you guys. What you don't see behind the scenes is that I typically only have like a bottle of water with me, but I'll be out there for hours doing scenes and skills, and I'll run out of water, and I'll carry this so I can get some water. And I've drank a lot of nasty water out of questionable sources with this Grail and never been sick. So a very good piece of kit to have, or a small water treatment kit for any survival bag or go bag. Alright guys, so as part of this video, I wanted to show you the knife that's got the most mileage on it from PKS, or the Pathfinder Knife Shop, or SRO. This one I've taken to survival courses, especially at the Pathfinder school, but also for instructing or doing my own bushcraft or camping or making videos. And that knife that's got the most mileage out of all the knives that I own is going to be the original PKS Kart design. It's got that nice broomstick handle. This handle, once you get a grip on that thing, it's not going anywhere, but it's still smooth enough to where we can actually manipulate it and change different grip techniques for different cutting or processing of materials. It's got that full tang that comes down to that spear point tip, which I think is great for actual carving. It seems to get in there and produce better notches or divots or whatever we're doing. It definitely carves a lot better. It's got approximately 4.5 inches of cutting surface. Scandi grind, great for wood processing and carving, and it's high carbon steel, so we can use it as a flint and steel kit as well. But this one is the one that's had the most use. You can kind of see the wear and tear on it, on the back of the knife especially, but it's still very sharp. It will still process material, and it's still part of the collection. I put a lanyard on this thing, and one reason I have a lanyard on my knives, and I recommend putting a small lanyard on knives, is that when we pull this out of the sheath, what we're doing is when we reach for that knife, we're actually going to grab that lanyard with our last 2 fingers and grab whatever portion of the handle we can get with the remaining digits of our hand. So when we pull this out, we have positive control of the knife and good control, so we won't drop it and it won't swing into us or hurt somebody else. And then from here, we could actually adjust up the handle, get a good grip, and process that material, maintaining safe orientation of the blade and accomplishing whatever task we need to. That's the reason to have a good lanyard on a knife like this. I don't prefer to leave it without a lanyard because I'm not going to come in here, grab it like this, and try to pull it out with minimal control using just 2 digits. So that's why I put a lanyard on all my knives. But this is the one, again, the Kart original design from PKS, the one that's got the most mileage that I've used personally. They make a similar one like this, and you can get curly maple birch handles or satin or a blacksmith finish, but it's still a really good knife. They make even better sheaths now, I think, or source better sheaths. This sheath is one of the original, just kind of spare sheaths that you could get from PKS. The ones they have now are a lot thicker material and a lot better material, in my opinion. This one's still a really good sheath, but you can see I've eaten it up on the inside from constant use of pulling this knife out and then putting it back and then sitting down on the ground and scuffing it up. Still a good knife to have, still a good sheath. That's why it's still usable and in my collection years later. So this is the one that I've used most frequently. Again, they make a similar Kart design today, which is the one I would highly recommend. All right, speaking of cutting tools, that #1 survival pocket knife that's in almost every instructor's pocket is going to be that Swiss Army knife Ranger Grip 78. This one is OD green with rubberized handles. This one has that large locking blade on it, but it's a straight blade. It's not serrated anywhere. It's just one continuous flat grind on the blade. Everything we can do with the knife blade, we can do with this blade as well. So we got that large knife, one-handed open, and then we could even press the Swiss Army knife or Victorinox emblem right here to unlock it to close that knife blade. One feature that's really good on this, saw blade. That saw blade is huge. It's a lot wider here toward the base of the saw blade as compared to some other Swiss Army knives. And that saw blade, again, is extra long, at least 4 or 5 fingers, so we can actually process large material. Great for making notches and carving. Great for making notches and carving, especially with that main blade. Now we have a way to take down material as well as process that material. This makes it a great pocket survival knife. Of course, we have the obligatory can and bottle opener screwdriver combination as part of this knife. All right, not entirely useful in a wilderness setting unless we modify these for different things, but still good to have. We have the toothpick and then the tweezers, always good to have to remove things out of the skin. And then back here, we have that Phillips head screwdriver, which I'm partial to somewhat. I also like the corkscrew on the back of this thing because we can put that little mini ferro rod in the corkscrew and have an extra fire lighting device as part of our kit in case we run out of others. And then we have that reamer or that awl. If you have that reamer or awl plus the main blade as well as that saw, you've got it made for bushcraft. You can do just about everything you need to with just this simple pocket knife right here. Again, another lanyard on here for easy control or to loop it on something, but a good survival pocket knife. Highly recommended is that Ranger Grip 78 for that pocket cutting tool. All right, that number one hatchet or axe tool that I've used, that I see a lot of people using, especially for bushcraft just because of its design, is the Council Tool Camp Carver. This hatchet is like a combination axe hatchet because it's got about a 17-inch handle, which is a little bit shorter than a lot of forest axes, but it's got a 1.7 pound head, which is almost 2 pounds, which makes it a larger axe head, puts more weight up here at the top, and that's great for actually fine carving and taking down and processing and shaping material. But with this hatchet, we can actually take down smaller trees. 3 to 5 inches in diameter is fine, and then still have the ability to choke up on the handle and process material out for bushcraft and finer carving skills. And as we remove the sheath here, we can take a look and understand why that's the case. Now the hatchet head has that pole on the back, so we can use this to pound in wedges to split logs or pound in stakes. But it also has kind of an extended hatchet head with a Scandi grind from toe to heel in the bit here that makes it perfect for actual carving. With this, we can make feather sticks. With this, I've made bow drill sets and shown it in videos. Carving the notch with a hatchet head on a bow drill set is not the easiest thing to do, just because it takes a little bit of focus and a lot more patience, but it's still achievable, it's still doable. And so this hatchet, the Camp Carver, is the best one for splitting wood, limbing, bucking material, splitting logs, creating tools. Everything we need to do with a hatchet or even a pack axe, we can do with the smaller version from Council Tool, which is why it's the most used, the one that I use all the time. And if I had to pick one, this would be it. All right, so just like that Camp Carver, it comes from Council Tool. Other tools on SRO are going to come from other places as well, just like Silky. I wanted to show this because this is honestly the hand saw or folding saw that I use most frequently, not only as an instructor, but definitely out making videos or in the backwoods by myself where I know I need a saw, but I don't want to carry something that's really large. And that's just the Silky Pocket Boy. Again, another good lanyard on this tool, so we can suspend this or tie it off to our belt or just hang it up on a broken limb on a tree so we can see it. This is one of the shorter saws, or if not the shortest saw that Silky makes. As you can see, just a very short blade. Got about 7 inches of cutting blade right there with the teeth, but this will take down even larger material by cutting around it and seesawing back and forth between that material to take down larger sections. So if this is all we had, we could still take down large sections of material very easily. A good rubberized handle. We don't lose this with dexterity, but this can go right in our pocket, similar to our Swiss Army knife. And then we can take this out to process material out very quickly to make a fire, make notches, carve, or just simply build up enough firewood to keep ourselves warm throughout the night using a small pocket boy like this. Another part of this is that it has some extra functions on it that we can use to our advantage. Some of those other advantages to a saw like this is that it's got a 90-degree spine on it, so we can throw sparks too easy. Then it's high carbon steel, so we can also use it as an additional fire starter, flint and steel kit, by finding a hard rock and striking the back of the saw blade on the spine, driving off sparks. And so it's a good little pocket tool to have, not just for bushcraft or for campcraft, but also for survival. Keeping this in the pocket means we have a lot of different multifunctional tools right there with the saw blade, processing material, notching material, taking down material, but also helping us to get a fire started as well, which is why it's one that I use most often. Also because it's the smallest and fits easily, lightest weight, that is still capable of producing a lot of different skills or accomplishing those skills for us. All right, so there's a lot of different shelter items out there, but one of the items that I've used the most for shelter for myself and then in a few videos, and especially for bushcraft or for courses at the schoolhouse for Pathfinder, is actually their Pathfinder wool blanket. This is a Faribault brand wool blanket, but whatever they did to this thing is the warmest blanket that I've ever had. This is a queen size, so we're capable of wrapping this around ourselves in the traditional style. But this blanket, just sleeping on the ground alone with no debris bed, nothing, has kept me warm throughout the night. This one I've actually used quite a bit. You can see we've got scuffs all over the place, and then I think I just saw some debris, some stickies right here that I missed the last time I was out, and they just adhere themselves to the wool blanket. Take care of those later. But this one I've used a lot. There's actually a burn in here somewhere where a hot coal landed on me in the middle of the night and just smoldered and never made it all the way through the actual blanket. That's how protective the blanket is and how warm the blanket is, that I was sleeping next to the fire. Didn't really even need the fire, on the cold ground. The coal lands on it, and I still don't even notice that it's there, and it had a chance to just sit and smolder until I rolled over in the night. But this blanket, if there was one wool blanket, I would highly recommend this one, because it's still relatively thin material compared to like alpaca or Irish sheep or whatever, but it's still a lot of material that's woven tightly together to help keep dead air space and trap that hot air inside the blanket roll itself as we're sleeping on the ground. Highly recommend this wool blanket. It's worth the money if you had to invest in just one, which is why I have this one and I use it. All right, one item that I really like that everybody's got, I think, is just that Pathfinder haversack. I picked this up a long time ago for one of the courses, but I really like the concept of this, and what I mean is that it's a haversack. It's great. Put the instructor patch on when I became an instructor and fit everything in here from tinder to all of our survival materials. Just go right inside. Whatever we need to grab, we can grab it quickly, and I like that thought process and that methodology because in the military and in the infantry, you know we're going to stop at the ORP. We're going to get down, get mission essential equipment out, establish security and all that good stuff, and we're going to grab what we need to get up to the objective or the assault position. And so what I like about this is that's how I use this haversack, is that I'll keep it in my bag, we'll stop where we're going to do training for the day, and then I pull out the haversack, open it up, put in all the items that I'm going to need, you know, fire items, navigation items, kits, everything. Even small processing tools, waypoint markers for land navigation, everything. Flip it back over, and then now I can just grab my haversack, take off, go do training for the day or whatever we need to, and then come back and refit as necessary at my backpack or rucksack or survival bag. That's how I use the haversack. I don't keep it on me all the time like a satchel or a man purse, because I just don't like it hanging over my shoulder that often. But to grab things and go, that's why I really like it. You can see this one I've used a lot, and I love it so much that I even put my Instructor patch on there. We can also use this canvas, this oiled canvas, as a ground cloth for tinder material, so we can keep it up off the ground and protect our tinder, but also as a ground cloth for our bow drill. You use that before in the pouring rain to help protect fire starting tools and a lot of the wood material using friction fire sets in inclement weather. So a haversack, a small one like this, is great for putting all of our gear in, grabbing and going, doing whatever we need to, and then coming back with a lot of the free space that we have in here to put in extra resources that we find. That haversack is a great piece of kit, something I use constantly and that I have every time I'm out training. All right, something that I use quite frequently that I'm not afraid to admit is one of the most used items is going to be just this tiny 100% cotton orange Pathfinder kind of washcloth or cotton piece of material as part of that original 10Cs kit mentality. This thing I've used a million billion times. I've actually got one right here as a spare, or well, correction, this one's the spare. This one's the one I've used most frequently. And you can see I tore off a piece of material up top right here for char cloth, and then I've used this to clean things or grab hot pieces of material or bush pots out of the fire. Use this to wipe down different things like knives or tools, clean them off after a rainy day in the woods. Even use this as a waypoint marker for land navigation. Could use this washcloth to soak up water and help fill your water bottle by just pulling from a source that you couldn't get that bottle into otherwise, or simply using this as a signaling device to signal search and rescue. But this thing is small enough to fit in a haversack without being too bulky like a shemagh. The shemagh we could wear, but this thing we can actually shove in our pocket and we don't even really know it's there. So it's almost a handkerchief size of 100% cotton cloth. They can do a million different things for us, which is why it's part of the 10-piece kit, or why it's part of any survival kit. But we can use this for a lot of different things, which is why this one, at least, is something that I use quite frequently as an instructor and pack it as part of my kit. You know you want one. All right, guys. Well, I really hope you liked this video. A quick video this weekend on kit mentality, ideas behind different kit elements, and the things I've used as an instructor at the schoolhouse, as well as a student, and then even on my own. Hopefully this gives you guys some ideas for your own kits, which is the intent of the video. So I really hope you liked this video. If you did like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment in the comment section. I always appreciate your feedback. I want to thank you guys for what you do for me, for this channel, for your likes, your views, your subscriptions, your comments, your feedback, and your shares. And I'll be back with another video as soon as I can, guys. Thanks.